Hello, welcome to Ring Ads live stream. I am William Mears. I am your host officially. I don't know why I said that. It's been a weird day. Not a bad day, just odd, weird. Most people probably call it a Monday. I don't really get the Monday sensation. And if you're having a Monday sensation currently, hey, there's a way out. And building a pay-per-call agency is definitely one of those ways. Sorry, I'm loading up the iPad here so that I can be able to look at the camera and see you guys because uh, I've got some tricky stuff going on. So normally it's about the time I copy paste the link in for a Zoom and into the comments section for the Facebook's live stream. So if you're in the Ring Ads Facebook group right now and you're watching the live stream from within the group, then you'll be able to see the link I'm about to post for you to come in live to the Zoom, which is then fed through the Facebook live stream. For those of you that are still keeping score there, uh, basically it's a way for you to interact with me live. If you got questions, you want to share your screen, anything campaign related, anything pay per call related, period. But could be offer selection, could be campaigns, any kind of optimization, creation, advanced optimization. There's client acquisition, uh, you name it. So if you have questions and you don't want to come in live, you can come in live, obviously, if you want to. Link's going to be in the comment section, like I said in the group. But if you don't want to come in live, that's fine as well. You can just write me a comment or ask your question in the comment section and of the live stream, wherever you're watching the live stream. So it could be YouTube, could be Instagram, wherever. Um, and I'll be more than happy to answer that for you. Okay, so now all I have to do is to refresh my Facebook stream here, and I'm in the group. I've got to find the live stream. There she is. If you don't want to come in live, that's fine as well. You can. And we're going to just write me a comment or ask your question. We're going to try to mute myself. That's fine as well. You can. And we're going to just write me. There we go. All right. Cool, cool, cool. And I'm going to paste the link in. Looks like Adrian's already here with us, chomping at the bit. Very good. All right, so link is now, the Zoom link to ask questions live if you want to is now in the comment section of the Facebook group, the Ring Ads Facebook group, the main group here. If you're watching, like I said, from somewhere else, from LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, wherever, okay, the Ring Ads page, there's a difference, right? The Ring Ads Facebook page is not the same as the Ring Ads Facebook group. But wherever you're tuning in from, if you want to ask your questions, I should be able to see your comments and answer them live. However, if you're within the group, you're able to see the Zoom link and come in live and chit chat or ask questions if you need help with something. So that said, what's new? What's cracking in your businesses? How can I help? The floor is open. The door is also, I guess, open. I don't know. It's kind of weird. I always have an open door policy. You guys know that. Adrian's saying hello. Good afternoon, sir. To myself and to Ring Ads members. That's good. Colin's here. Hey, Colin. We saw you yesterday in the mentorship. He's always tuning in. That's good. Consistency on that one and engagement level. So that's good on you, Colin. That's also why Colin has a ton of activity. He's been uh, knocking back some stuff for sure, uh, building the agency. He's been busy, busy. So anyway, there's my buddy Jason. Haven't heard from him in a little while. Last I heard, he was on an island somewhere kicking it with his fiance, and she just had a birthday, and that was I'm sure that was a great time that they had out there. And yeah, 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 living the life, right? Travel options are opening back up for everybody. Hopefully, you're taking advantage of that, especially during the summertime. I'm talking to everybody there. um, Yeah, I've noticed a lot of movement, like a lot of bookings here in Vegas, and it's been going on for about the last month or so. Shit's been booked up September, August, or excuse me, August, September, October. Hotels are booking out just completely. So, and I don't believe any major conventions have. Well, I think one or two might have committed, but most of that stuff is for next year, not this year. So, pretty interesting. But hey, there's Quessy. Wesley's with us. Cool. Always good to have you, good sir. Uh, everybody can you guys find the link okay? If you have questions, type them out in the comments. Some of you might have longer questions. Maybe it's taking you a minute to type them out. That's fine. I know you guys don't want to just hear me talk all day. So you know the drill. I'm going to be here for 30 minutes, and if there's nothing, or if nobody needs anything, I should say, we're going to bounce. I don't want to take up your time, nor mine. I want everybody to be busy, 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 busy. So anything I can help you to further that, whatever's on your to-do list or your agenda, streamline anything, answer any questions, help you get refocused. Sometimes that's the case, right? Let me know how I can help. Uh, Santosh Kumar says, "Hello, William. I would like to ask one question about getting started." By all means, good sir. What can I help you with? Let me look at the camera. There we go. How can I help you? All right. Let me know why my phone was over there. That's weird. And that's not supposed to be plugged in. Dang, I'm all kinds of Monday'd out, aren't I? It's all good. Oh, no major changes yet. Like I said, July's right around the corner coming up, and we'll see what Google Ads has in store for us in terms of major updates. I'll keep an eye on that. If I see anything significant, like I think I'm going to see, I'll probably make an advanced post about it prior to the next call. And if it happens between the 14th and 28th of July, I'll do the same thing. I'll just make a post about it or posts about the changes and what they mean for you ultimately, and then I'll cover them more in depth on the next calls as those announcements are released. And again, there may not be any announcements, but I have a very good hunch, right? A strong gut instinct that tells me July is always the month that they do major updates, and I have my reasons for why I believe that, but um, it's been pretty spot on with that lately, last few years. So yeah, any questions you have, happy to help. Always happy to help. Oh, Adrian's got something. Here we go. Maybe there's just a bit of a delay on the stream. Adrian says, I saw your reply from last month, William. I followed your advice and I sent you another email this morning to share my next steps to move forward. I wanted to ensure I could execute on some of the things you mentioned and then reply. Uh, okay. Are you asking me, and it's cool if you are, Adrian, do you want me to take a look at that now and give you some direct feedback? Is that what you're asking me? If it is, it's cool. I don't mind doing that. I'm just asking so I know what you want me to do, because I will be getting to the tickets, the support tickets, hopefully later today, but uh, definitely tomorrow at the latest. So let me know if you want me to review that right now, which I have no problem doing. I just want to make sure that's what, because you didn't ask directly, so I want to make sure that's what you're asking. Uh, and I'll come back to you. So just send me another comment in, and I'll definitely take a look if that's the case. John says, "Hi William, still no broadband changeover today. So annoying when they let you down." That's the cable company for you. Even in the States, man, sometimes they, because they do a lot of third-party contractors here, and sometimes that happens. That actually, last time I had cable hooked up, I got skunked like that once. And so, yeah, it's a pain in the ass. I get it. Um, Colin's asking or saying, "Hi, William. Thanks for your insights yesterday." He's talking about the mentorship call we had, right? I have a follow-up question about the bulk discount and one about qualifying questions during the sales call. Firstly, wow, this is a good set of questions here. Okay, so firstly, what is a good bulk discount for movers at $25 a local call? I was thinking 20 calls with 2 free, so they pay $450. 50 calls with 5 free, so they pay $11.25. 100 with 10 free, so they pay $22.50. Yes, I like that. It's not too much. It's not too little. At the same time, I would work on your positioning. I wouldn't say free. I would say 20 for 450. 20 calls for 450, $450, and maybe have a 500 next to it with a strike through, because that they know everybody can pretty much do basic math. Everybody knows more or less that 20 calls at 25 is going to be 500. So when you have the 500 there and it's got a strike through it, right? uh, and then next to it you've got 20 for 450. They understand they're getting two calls for free, but you don't want to say two free calls because then what it does is the positioning, the difference there is I know it's minor, but it's actually major. It's a minor actual change, but in terms of positioning, it's a major shift because it separates, number one, it maintains the value of your call and separates you or differentiates you from the rest of your market who tends to say shit like free calls. Let me give you two free calls. Let me see how you like these free calls. Let me give you a discount of free calls. I wouldn't say discount. I would call it loyalty program, right? You kind of get my drift on the language there, hopefully. The numbers, though, that you're suggesting are good. They're solid. I would say go with that. Just work on your languaging a bit. Hopefully that helps there. And you say, and lastly, would the question will or do you take competitor calls be a qualifying or onboarding question? Thanks, Colin. Typically, I ask that as a qualifier. It's usually one of the later questions that I ask as a qualifier because I do want to prepare them for competitor calls, especially if I'm just starting out because I know that I'm going to get a few more of those initially. And as the campaigns grow and the data grows from multiple campaigns, and I'm able to actually hone in on not just competitor calls right out of the gate. That's the low hanging fruit, right? Most of the time is competitor calls. Not always, but there's a good amount of that in the low hanging fruit. So yeah, always prep with that inside of your qualifying questions. It's not the first question I ask though, right? I want to make sure they're a solid fit really before I even ask that question. In the onboarding, I do talk about that as a friendly reminder and help them and train them on how to work with and use and convert, I should say, competitor calls. So if it's that person, if the owner is the person that's on the phone, sometimes it is for a smaller shop, uh, or they just don't trust anybody to handle the phones the way they do, right? Then I'm going to work with them to make sure they're up to speed on how we handle competitor calls or how we advise our clients to handle competitor calls. And if it's a front office person, well, they were hired to be a front office person, not a salesperson. So they definitely need you to spend some time with them. So that's something I would square away in the onboarding call. One of the onboarding calls is be one of the first ones would be, okay, I need some time set aside with whoever's going to be on the phone. If that's you, great. If it's this person, great, so that you can actually run through those things with them. Because here's how most people handle, I say most people, most business owners handle competitor calls. Yeah, is this ABC Plumbing? No, you've reached XYZ Plumbing. ABC Plumbing's down the road, or their number is such and such. That's usually how competitor calls are handled. I know it's ridiculous, right? Because somebody's literally in the market for a plumber most of the time. Some of the time, they're trying to find ABC Plumbing because they already have somebody from ABC Plumbing coming out, or they're looking to only work with ABC Plumbing because that's all they know and all they care to know, and they're hard no on that, right? And those you don't charge for, but you can hear that in the recording. That's why we have recordings for our calls, right? You wouldn't bill for that, but you would bill for something that is ABC Plumbing. No, this is XYZ Plumbing. We're Great Plumbing Company. We got people. I got techs in the field right now. How can I help? Right. Uh, that's an easy shift, but if it's not ingrained in whoever's answering the phone to just do that like off the top of their head without having to think about it, or you just got to be able to rattle it off like I did. And when you can teach your clients to do that with competitor calls, the competitor calls become infinitely more valuable. And here's the really cool thing is that you don't just tell them or teach them how to do this and then leave it at that, like that's all they're ever going to use it on, or your calls. They get competitor calls all by themselves. I guarantee you they do. And so when somebody is a competitor call uh, and it's not delivered from you, right? Because they've learned how to deal better with competitor calls from you, it naturally increases all of their calls, right? In terms of competitor calls that come in conversions, right? So their conversions across the entire board, not just the calls you deliver, go up. Same thing for like when you teach them how to handle window shoppers and tire kickers, you teach them how to do that, and then that goes across the board for every conversation they ever have, whether they're calls delivered from you or calls delivered from Joe down the street or the calls that just came in organically, right? for tire kickers, window shoppers. I call them the window shoppers, but um, so window shoppers and competitor calls, right? Those are the big things you want to train on, work with your clients on. And those are great questions, by the way, Colin. So yeah, qualifying, you ask, make sure that they're open to that, and you can even explain a little bit of that process. You don't want to do too much of that. Just need to make sure they're willing and able to take calls. You're not going to bill them for someone that says, no, I'm insisting on ABC company, right? You're going to bill for those that are qualified, right? Like the potential for doing a deal is there. And onboarding, you train them on how to deal with that. So talk about it in both places in a different way, if that makes sense. Uh, Adrian says, I'm on my lunch break. I'm headed. I got to head back to work now. 5 minutes left. Okay. I'm making a quick stop today to say hello that I sent the email. We may keep this conversation private. Talk soon, William. Peace. You got it. You got it, dude. I will. I'll take a look at that. Colin says, brilliant. Thanks. Gotcha about the language. And I was going to ask that question last in the sales call. So now to get in the car and drive tomorrow, and I'll let you know how it went next Sunday. Very good. Let me know before then. Let me know throughout the week in the mentorship group if you want. Uh, Make a post. Let us know what's going on. Tell me your numbers. I'll help you dial that sucker in. Okay. Um, you've been doing great so far, right? Keep up the good work. Keep up your engagement. Uh, and that includes just updating us with where you're at and what your numbers are, because that'll help me help you dial it in real well. Okay. And great questions. Okay, cool. I think, oh, no, Santosh asked, I hope I'm saying that right, is asking, what is this? I'm working as a VA since 5 years as SEO and some miscellaneous related tasks for one client in the USA. Okay. Now, due to some reasons, I want to leave it and start my own, but I don't have backup for income. Is it a good way to start with the mentorship and start a pay-per-call agency with minimal budget? Okay, so that's a tough one. I'm not saying you can't start with a minimal budget. There's there's what I always like to call in this model. There's tolerances, meaning well, shit. There's tolerances for everything. Even steel, as hard as steel is, and even hardened steel, still has its tolerances, right? It will still crack and break. It will still bend under the right amount of pressure or the right temperature outside and stress, if that makes sense. Um, this model is no different. Everything can break. Everything has its tipping point. Everything has its optimal range of performance as well, not just a breaking point. But the time, if you need proof of that, like look at anything. Aerosol cans operate the best from this temperature to this temperature. Anything outside of those temperatures, and you're going to have problems getting the can to spray because it's too cold or it's too hot, and it might even explode in your hand. Water freezes at 32 degrees, as basic as that is. It boils at 212 degrees Fahrenheit, mind you. Um, I mean, those are, but water is water, and optimal performance is between that freezing point and that boiling point in terms of drinking. Now, it's even more specific for us, not even just drinking. For drinking, though, it's even more specific because if we drink water that's too hot, we get burned, even above. I think probably what 130, 140. After that, it starts getting painful, like stupid painful. Starts burning, actually still burning you, even though the water's not hit boiling yet. Um, but anything between 32 to I don't know, call it 120 at the most. You'll be okay. You'll survive, right? With water, that would be an optimal range. Room temperature, though, is pretty. I mean, that's like run right down the middle, right? For water's optimal range. Now, the question you're asking. The reason I'm telling you that and giving you this analogy is because you're asking a very specific question that I want to give you as specific an answer as I can, but it has to be in ranges because I can't give you a specific answer. There's too many variables. For example, water might burn you differently than it burns me, right? I may be able to, in other words, maybe I've been drinking hot water all my life, so I can stand to drink extra hot water. In fact, I've known some people that drink hot tea all the time and they have to have their tea extra hot. And I never heard of such a thing until I met those people. And they can drink stuff that would completely burn out my insides. Um, and while that sounds crazy, it's very true. So here's my point. Your question that you're asking is, what's the absolute? How far can I actually stress this thing to the point of freezing in terms of water, or to the point of not being able to stand um, the um, the water because it's so hot on both ends? Because you're asking about minimal budget. Now, if you can't, uh, if minimal budget's your issue, I would say I'm not going to say don't do this business. I'm going to say don't operate from that mindset. You're going to have to expect and find a way to provide for the business so that the business can in turn provide for you. It doesn't mean you have to do it forever either. It's not a permanent thing. Obviously, the business will pick up its own slack. But again, the variable is you. How much time are you able to put into it? You said you're full time um, as a VA, right? So you're working for somebody else doing that. You don't have a backup income. So you're not looking for tons and tons of clients. At the same time, you do need some capital to be able to put into things that are going to help you acquire clients faster and easier or more efficiently. Um, there's preferences, right? There's what I teach, and then there's what everybody wants to do on their own for some reason. And if you're talking about tolerances, you're already stressing your water to the point where, in the analogy, where it's hot as hell just on minimal budget alone. And then if you're not following what I teach you, you're stressing it even further, right? This is where people get into hot water, pun intended. Um, I don't know how that worked out, but that worked out. Uh, that is exactly what happens to a lot of people. And then all of a sudden they're like, man, this water's too hot for me to drink. And it's like, well, no shit, because you did this, you did that. And it's like, you can only stress water so far to the point of being able to drink it, right? It's got its tolerances, just like anything else. And this business is no different. So um, the good news is I've given you guys training and will continue to give you guys training and everything that I can and do within my power to even help you personally on calls like this, for example, where I'll look at your campaigns, I'll help you optimize to keep those costs down as much as possible. At the same time, it's up to you guys to make sure that you can provide for the business long enough so that the business can turn around and provide for you. And the other thing is this, like on that, you being the variable side, if you slack off and getting clients, right? If you aren't following the training or taking to heart what I'm teaching you about specifics of client acquisition or campaign setup, it's going to cost you more money. It's going to cost you more time. So now all of a sudden that minimal budget that you need isn't so minimal anymore, right? And then again, that's that hot water scenario where it just gets too hot for you. Now on the flip side, um, I've seen people that have too much money and too much time and completely sabotage themselves. That's like the cold water example, to where the water's not drinkable. It's frozen. It's ice now by definition. And so on that side, it's just they let the water get too cold, right? They tried to cool it down and do things their way and drink it because their preference is cold water, okay, but they left it in the freezer too long. You get what I'm saying? They left it outside too long if it's below freezing, and now they have frozen water and they can't drink the water. And they're like, I don't understand, why can't I drink this water? I see everybody else drinking water. Why can't I drink this water? Right? Same concept, and it applies to the business model on both ends. You can stress things to a point. The optimal range. See, I told you I was going to get to that, right? The optimal range for bootstrappers, okay, is somewhere around 300 to 500 a month. And that's going full bore 2-3 hours a day, 5 days a week, right? And I say 2 to 3 because you'd put a little extra in just to make sure you hit your mark. But typically, I've seen 1 to 2 hours a day, 5 days a week do just fine if you're actually putting in the work and not on Facebook all the time, right? So if you're putting in the work, 1 to 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, you're golden. 300 to 500 a month. That buys you plenty of bandwidth for your prospecting, acquiring your clients. you should be pulling your first couple clients in within your first couple weeks. If you're really putting in 1 to 2 hours a day, you should be client acquisition mode from week 2 on. So you only have to do that for probably 2 to 3 months max. And that's like if you absolutely suck at pulling in clients starting out, because I can help you get better. But again, if you don't tune in I say coaching, to the live streams that we do here, if you don't ask questions in the group, if you don't, I mean, if you need perfect examples, look at Adrian and Colin submitting tickets, asking questions, asking questions here in the live stream. Colin was in yesterday's mentorship call, but here he is in today's main group on this call, because he's taken every opportunity that he can spare and afford to get his questions answered and get straight on some things that he needs to move forward. And then he goes and he does the work, and he comes back and he says, okay, now I got these questions. And I give him answers. He's like, damn, this guy's got answers for everything. Yeah, well, pretty much, because at least for this business model, because I've been there and done that. That's why you keep me around. You guys don't keep me around for my personality. You guys keep me around because I know my shit. That's why you talk to me. And that's fine. Some of you actually like me, and that's cool too. But I could care less about that point. All I care about is that you succeed in this business model, and that you take it, you dedicate yourself to it, you work it, make shit happen, right? Go out and make shit happen. And there are perfect examples of that. So there's tolerances there. The room temperature range I just gave you, 300 to 500 a month, that gets you everything you need and then some to be able to I've seen people with $150, again, stressing those tolerances, right? And within 4 days, pull in 50 clients over the next 45 days. No shit, more than a client a day. I've also seen people take that entire business and run it into the fucking ground. Don't ask me why. Self-sabotage, whatever. Uh, but I've seen a lot, right? So can it be done for less? Yeah. Your optimal range, though, right? You can't listen. Room temperature is room temperature. Freezing point at water is freezing point at water. I'm not God. I can't make shit change. All I can do is point out the tolerances that I'm aware of, much like a scientist would, like, hey, shit freezes at 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Hey, shit boils at 212 degrees Fahrenheit. Hey, room temperature is this, right? What is it, 76 degrees? Something like that, Fahrenheit. So I know there's a lot of people that deal in Celsius. I get that. We're like one of 3 countries that deal in Fahrenheit, but whatever. You get my point. So 0 degrees Celsius freezing, in 100 boiling, and then room temperature would be 20 something, something like that. See, I know my stuff, kind of. Uh, no, not 20 something. Be like 20, 25, 25, 26 maybe. Anyway, the idea is this. I can teach you that, and now that you know those ranges and what's right down the middle, where you want to be as much as possible, what your stress tests are, what's required for you to still make it happen bootstrap style, and not be within down the middle, right? You know it's what you know more is going to be required of you, right? If it's less of a budget, and you also know that even if you have more of a budget, you're still going to need to make sure you put enough in, right? In terms of time, and effort as well, not just time but effort. So I can teach you all that, but then I can also go further, and this is where, again, most people don't really have it dialed in like this, but again, that's why you keep me around, to tell you these things and teach you these things, is that now you know the tolerances, but I can show you all of the ways we get extremely efficient, to where, like I said, I've seen people with $150 to their name, right? Throw it on a credit card. They didn't even actually have that money technically, if you think about it, because it's on a credit card, and pull out mid 5 figures within 60 days and set themselves up for a 6-figure business. What they did with it on their own is on them, right? But I'm just telling you straight up, that is, and the main problem there, by the way, if anybody's curious, again, not being in alignment, not following what I'm teaching. 100%. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that's exactly what happened. I watched it unfold in front of my eyes. It's not just happened once, it's happened a lot. For some reason, people hit a certain a certain level of success with this business model, hell, with any business model, and they start to self-sabotage. The trick is if you're engaged, here's where the people that succeed and go on to continue to succeed with or without me, here's why they're able to do that and able to win, versus the people who build up a good business and then fail, or people who fail from out of the gate. The people that stuck in contact with me, stayed in contact with me through live streams like this, support tickets, the Facebook group posts, because the more you engage with me, the more I engage back with you, right? The more information you give me, the more insight I can give you and direction I can give you. And that's invaluable the more you build your business, right? Uh, so every time you come back to me, what I give you is more valuable and more valuable and more valuable. Now, if you see that from day one, you're golden, right? If you don't see that from day one, you're going to struggle the whole way through because your momentum will be robbed, or you'll rob yourself of your momentum. So um, I know that's a long answer. At the same time, that question is not one easily quantified. It's not like you're asking me uh, how long this pen is. You know what I'm saying? You're asking something that can't really be quantified. I can give you ranges. I can give you what I've seen in my experiences, my personal experiences, my teaching experiences in this model. I can give you tolerances, and then I can teach you how to maximize and leverage the shit out of those tolerances, push the edge, push the envelope, if you will. Uh, but at the end of the day, everything comes down to you, right? So I hope that answers that question. Um, there's never going to be an easy button, by the way, never ever. And I don't think you're asking that question, Santosh, to look for an easy button. I'm just throwing that out there for everybody else listening in, going, God, that sounds like a lot of work. Yeah, you're creating an entire agency from the ground up, and initially there's some heavy lifting, but after a while, and not too long from now, you can have a business that runs itself. I've seen people build an agency short of an agency manager, which is the last position to hire, built in 4 months when somebody got serious. I've seen people piss away a year, seriously, with a handful of clients. And when I say handful, I can count them on one hand. So a handful of clients, and do that for like 14 months, and then finally got serious. And within the next 4 months, went to a mid six figure a year business actually, because they got serious. I mean, I've seen a lot. Uh, the thing is, it's all about you. What are you going to do? And whatever that choice is, I support you. I'm with you. If you want to do this business model, I'm here for you. If you want to do something else, I support you. I don't know to what end I can support you on that, because this is pay per call agency model, right? And that's what we do here. We build that and scale that. So if that's what you're still committed to or want to learn, I'm with you. Uh, you're saying, glad I got you. I got what you're saying. We'll join the mentorship, start my journey. And you don't have to, by the way, join the mentorship. The mentorship is open. Um, the uh, the software that we have, right? Ring Ads is free. There's a couple of paid options, and the mentorship is one of those, but it's not a requirement, right? We do these calls in the main group here for free twice a month, right? And I'm not saying that don't give me your money either, right? What I'm saying is I would much rather you spend your money, if you're on a budget like that, to build up and get a few clients in and then come into the mentorship, because I think that would be more smart, right? Like I'm not concerned about getting money from you, right? I want you to make money so that you can then come back and invest with me, right? Now, if you're already at that point, some of you are, uh, and some of you already have come in, great, come on in, right? And you'll build faster for sure, those of you that can do that. But if you're not in that place and you are bootstrapping more, I'd much rather you spend that money towards, because that's half of 300 if you think about it, 147 a month, right? That's You double that, and you're at the low end of that tolerance for right down the middle, which is better than freezing, right? You're probably in the 50 to 60 degree range. You're close to that room temp. You're not maybe right at it, but you're right under it. That's right where you want to be, pretty much, almost. So I would say, and I'm not saying don't give me your money. I'm also saying it's your decision, right? I'm not going to tell you what to do on that. but I just want to make sure there's a full transparency here. You don't have to have that in order to get clients. Will you get them faster? Yeah. The more you use that and engage and leverage that, like for example, Colin, uh, there's other people in the group that are leveraging that. Carrie, there's a few people in the mentorship that do that and are doing well with it. And your choice, right? I'm still here. You know what I mean? The 14th and the 28th, I'll still be here for you, dude. Um, and over in the mentorship, it's every week, right? Every Sunday now. We actually moved it over to Sundays instead of Mondays, which is why I'm here now in the main group on Monday this month. All right, you say, actually, I want to select niche and personal guidance. That's why I want to join the mentorship, give a good start. Okay, yep. If that's how you feel, I'm here for you. You know what I mean? Um, not gonna not gonna try to persuade you one way or the other. I just wanted full disclosure so you knew what you have access to. You know what I mean? Like, um, but I get what you're saying. You need some direction on vertical selection and you say personal guidance. So I'm with you. Sometimes people need that. That's what the mentorship's all about. So I hear you. I hear you. All righty. Uh, I'm not seeing anybody in the Zoom, and I'm not seeing any other questions yet in the comment section. If you have questions, feel free to ask. It's been good so far. I know Adrian was on his lunch break, so he's probably bounced. Colin's probably still here, but I think he's set. Santosh is, and again, I hope I'm saying that right. I butcher names, so I do apologize if I'm not saying that correctly. Uh, Quessy's here. He says hi. Ask away, Quessy. You know the deal. Just ask. I'm here, buddy. I am here. It's been a bit a minute since I heard from you. Hope you're doing all right. Uh, and ask away. Here to help. I don't think I missed anything. Doesn't look like it. Let me just double check something real quick. No, we're looking good so far. All righty. How can I help? Oh, John says call dropped again, so missed the end of your comments on bootstrapping. We'll catch that on the replay. Yeah, it's actually a really good question that was asked. Santosh asked that about bootstrapping. Well, he didn't quite ask it and he didn't say bootstrapping, but I understood where he was coming from. You know what I mean? And I always do my best to give you guys like the straight dope, right? Just the straight shit. I'm not trying to sugarcoat. I'm also not trying to uh, discourage you, right? I'm telling you straight out, this is not some kind of a marketing gimmick or something like that. This is a business. It's a business model, and when you build it and you build it the way I teach you, it'll run itself. It'll run and grow itself. Actually, that's what I always say. It'll run and grow itself. So um, that's hard to beat. The thing is, if you don't, you know, gosh, I could give you so many examples of good and what to do, what not to do. So you build up to 50 clients and you don't have any standard operating procedures and it's just you, guess what? You're going to be running around crazy like a one-man band as an agency, a one-man agency or one-woman agency, wondering why you did this in the first place because you basically traded one job for another. Like, it's basically what you did. And you may be getting paid more, which is a benefit. So it's like, man, I think I'm doing something right because you are getting paid more. And you can sometimes say, ah, screw it, I don't want to go to work today. But if you don't, the business isn't growing or it's not running itself because you don't have the procedures, the systems and processes that I teach you to build and help you build a lot of them. And you don't have the staff to run them and the staff aren't trained. None of that, right? So can you make six figures as a one man band? Absolutely, you can. You can make seven actually if you get really efficient with it. The thing is, most people don't want to work. They're not trying to create their own agency in this business model to work 16 hours a day, right? Um, I love what I do, right? So I don't look at it the same way, right, as that. But most people are coming from the 9 to 5, right, or working for somebody else, working for the man, and you don't want that lifestyle anymore. You want your weekends to be the work time and your weekdays to be your off time, right? Well, in order to get to that level, you've got to put in the heavy lifting as a business owner up front. I've helped you leverage as much of your time as possible to streamline all of that so that I take all the guesswork out of it, right? That's what this is all about. And then when you hit that point, you're able to do whatever the hell you want. Then you can sit on a beach if you want, and the business will continue to run and grow itself. Um, and you're making more money every day than the last day, and you're working less than the one man band, right? But I've seen people get to 50 clients and stress themselves out and completely run themselves into the ground, right, with a business. I've seen people grow to almost 100 clients and decide to start doing their own thing on campaigns and completely tank a six-figure a month business, an agency model, in this business, okay, and tank it to a few thousand a month in profit. Go from 100,000. Can you imagine 100 and 110, 120,000 a month down to like 4 or 5 thousand a month on average? Could you imagine that? Just I've seen people where I said they're like, hey, I've got a bunch of clients in, I'm making money, I'm at a profit enough to where I think I can quit my job, and I'm like, listen, I know you can quit your job, uh, I know you can quit your job, but uh, please don't, because I would recommend you pay out everything off, right? So get debt free completely, build up at least a 6 month savings to run the business and for your personal what you call it, just personal expenses. So business and personal, and make sure everything's in place, everybody's hired and trained up, and the business can continue to run and grow without you, to where maybe all that's left is hiring an agency manager. I've made that recommendation to a few people, and not one person has taken me up on that, because I get it. You're looking at 20, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000 a month even, and you're like, why the fuck am I working 9 to 5 then still, right? Well, because if you leave too soon and things aren't in place, you end up with all this free time, and you think you're good. You think you're golden, and what ends up happening is you slowly boil to death in your own business, and then you'll wish you never quit your job. And you'll be like, shit, I burned the bridge, or I burned the ship. I can't go back, right? I've seen it happen, watched it happen right in front of my face, and I'm like, Jesus, I, what am I supposed to say? By the way, I don't want to be. I can't be that guy that says I told you so, because that guy's an asshole, and I don't like being that guy. So I'm not going to say I told you so. I'm going to be like, man, well, fuck, I don't know what to tell you. Can you get your job back? Right? Like, I'm trying to go into solution mode and fix the problem. Well, what caused the problem? Oh, you decided to start running ads the way you wanted to run ads. Okay. Let me think about how to fix that. Start over. What? Uh, what else can I tell you? Get your job back or start over. And really, even if you get your job back, you're still going to have to start over on those campaigns, because you've tainted a lot of the data. And if it's been running for like 2 months, like one of the examples I'm talking about, eh, crazy stuff. I've seen the absolute most crazy things. Why would somebody do that? I don't know. I don't know. Get to six figures a month, and then you tell me why somebody would do that. Okay, with the agency model. I don't know why people do that. Haven't figured that out yet. Nobody's told me why they do that. I guess maybe they think they want to try something on their own, or that they want to become independent of me. And that's that whole thing I tell you guys about. Like, you don't have to like me. You don't have to love me. You don't have to like me. Hell, you can hate me. I don't give a damn. I really don't. Uh, if you're here to learn and put the business model to work for you, it's all I give a damn about. That's it. That's it. Uh, Beyond that, you can curse my name, send some dog shit in the mail to one of my PO boxes. I don't care. I really don't. Uh, Probably don't do that, because the post office actually cracks down on people that do that. So please don't do that. Uh, Send me a gag gift. That's fine. I don't give a shit. Um, but don't not hear me out on helping you get to six figures and beyond and keep growing. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just business suicide. I don't want you to have to go back to the 9 to 5. So anyway, there's many examples, many nightmare stories that I could go on and on all day and all night about, time and time and time again. And then there's successes where the difference is, like I said, they stayed engaged. They were posting every other day or at least a couple times a week, but the posts they made were very in depth, and they talked about what they were doing and what they changed or what they wanted to try. I would give them direction, insight, and direction. They would go and implement it right away, like same day implementation. A few days later, they'd have another update. You know what I'm saying? Those are like the hardcore guys and gals that produce the serious results and keep producing because they got into that habit. And then at a certain point, call it, I don't know, most of those people, probably about 8 months to a year in, typically have it under, after doing that for long enough, have a good handle on things enough to where they can not have to have me around all the time if they don't want me around all the time. And that's what I'm finding. Some people it takes longer, depends on how long it takes you to get moving. Some people it's shorter, but typically 8 to 12 months is a good window for having to put up with me. Anyway, um, no question. Oh, there's Quessy's question. Okay. On my client acquisition, I'm getting a lot of the HVAC contractors telling you that they're getting more business than they can handle as it's getting hotter, which makes sense. Some have asked me to call back in the fall, but I need clients now. I'm still swinging irrespective of this. I will appreciate some recommendations from you around this time of year when it seems HVAC contractors are getting a lot of jobs. Right. Okay. So, quick story for you on this one. I had long time ago, I did individual consulting for marketing strategy, and that included not just coming up with ad campaigns, but like entire marketing and branding campaigns. I worked with clients a lot through LinkedIn. That was back in my LinkedIn days. And uh, I had a client that, or a potential client, excuse me, that I was pre-qualifying right on the phone. We had a quick conversation, and we're about, I don't know, 5 minutes in, and I'd established that his income goal was to hit 2 million a year, and he had been making 1 million a year for the last, I don't know, 3 4 years, and he's like, I'm just not growing to, beyond where I'm at. I've kind of hit like a ceiling, and so anything I can do to bust through that, I feel like if I could just get over that hump, then hitting 2 million will be no problem if I could get some help with that, right? So I'm like, cool. So we continue on the conversation, and then later in the qualifying, we get down to brass tacks where I'm like, okay, my fee is, and he goes, well, uh, wait a minute, right? Starts backtracking. Can't remember exactly what he said, but it was something to the effect of that he's fine with where he's at. That's his stall tactic, right? Of he's justifying to himself he's at $1 million a year, and even said something along those lines where, I'm making $1 million a year. Like that's like that's a bragging point. And I'm not saying that to be rude about the guy or anything. I'm saying it to point out to you guys, like even at $1 million a year income, right? If you want to grow to two, you need to work with the people that can get you there, right? And so even with here's my point, even with HVAC, and I pointed that out to this guy. I said, listen, you told me at the beginning of the call you're pushing to hit 2 million. Are you telling me that you're fine with where you're at with 1 million? Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. I'm fine with where I'm at with 1 million. Okay. Well, sounds like I solved the problem. The problem is you didn't know what you really want, and now you do. And that was free of charge. Congrats. You're at 1 million. That's where you really want to be. You know what I mean? Well, wait a minute. No, I'm not. I'm not. That's it. You've spent that with me. You don't get to sidetrack me or side pedal me like that on a high ticket like that when I know I could over deliver for that guy. No way. I'm not gonna take on a client like that. It's too difficult for me. Now I'm not saying all the guys you're talking to, Quessy, are difficult, but they're pushing you off because or brushing you off because they feel like maybe the value's not there. Because I'll tell you right now, more calls than they can handle. The question is, do they want to grow? Question is, do they want to grow? And you're crazy if you think they can't hire techs, especially right now. Unemployment is coming to an end. The extension for unemployment, I should say, is coming to an end here in the States, and people are freaking out. People that have been sitting on their ass for months, cashing in on unemployment, are freaking out. And HVAC techs happen to be one of those industries where most of the time a good HVAC tech, especially one that's been around a bit, can make more working than he can sitting on his ass on unemployment, right? So at a certain point, right, especially now that the clock is ticking, right, for unemployment to be ending, and it's peak season, contract or companies are hiring contractors or techs, right? So you shouldn't take that as a stall tactic. You should take that as a listen. It's peak season. I know you're fucking hiring techs. Do you need more business or not? And if you're telling me you have more business than you can handle, then tell me who you know that doesn't have enough business to handle. Because I've got calls that are coming in, they got to go somewhere, right? That's the conversation. You stick to your guns on that. You don't let them. You don't just say okay, right? Got too much business. Okay, can't do that. I'm not saying you sound like that either. I'm just saying you can't just be okay and walk away tail between the legs. You got to stand your ground on that one. You don't have to be mean about it. At the same time, you've got the phone calls coming in every day. They got to go somewhere. And when you say it in the way I've given you, they got to go somewhere. He understands that if he doesn't speak up and take them, or at least entertain the idea of taking them when he knows very damn good well he could take them, and that he's growing the business, even if he's back in growth mode. I'm telling you right now, techs know it's peak season. This is the time to get employment. They're not stupid, okay? And in the fall, things slow down, but people still need techs for in HVAC for heating and venting, right? Um, that's not going to change anything. They're still going to have the same problems, right? So someone that's doing that is putting you off. Someone that's doing that is putting you off. Because I'll tell you, and here's why. If you were to call me right now and say, hey, I've got people that want to come work with you on whatever, right? It doesn't matter, anything. And I did not have the capacity yet, right? Like, let's say work with my coaches or something if I had coaches. And all my coaches are booked out for 2 weeks. And I literally and legitimately cannot take your business that you're trying to give me even, right? Or sell me. Either way. Uh, I would tell you the same thing, but then my mind as a business owner immediately goes where? Back to being overwhelmed? No. I've got somebody here who's willing to give me business. I need to find a way to bridge that gap, which means what? More coaches. In this case, HVAC, more techs. I got to be hiring more techs. I got to fix that problem. So my response then be to someone that's trying to give me leads like that? Would my response be call me back in the fall? No. Why would I put? It's a stall tactic. Anybody that says that to you is full of shit, like you would not believe. But they're doing it because something has already triggered them to. It's not a bad thing. Just be aware. Something in the conversation has already triggered them to not believe you, right? So you need to step your game up on making sure they understand. I got calls. They got to go somewhere. And I mean, like right now, right? You're hiring techs. It's peak season. Come on, man. When you come at them like that, and you're not being rude, but it's like cut the bullshit. A man to man, business owner to business owner. I got calls coming in every day. They got to go somewhere, and I mean right now, it's peak season. You know it. I know it. See, now you're talking their language. They're like, oh fuck, how does he know about peak season? Well, that kind of makes sense. It is summer. But then you say techs, you're hiring techs. Hiring techs is always a fucking problem. You're always going to have a backlog in summer. You probably book 2 weeks out if you're anything like anybody else I've ever worked with, right? Or seen or heard before, if you haven't worked with anybody yet, right? Uh, there's ways of pitching that it's like get real, right? And you force them back to actually have a conversation with you because all the telemarketers, guess what they do? Okay, too much business right now, right? And they go on about their fucking way. Now, the good news for you, Quessy, is you can always come back to these guys, and you can come back to them with a different flavor. They may not even remember you. And if they do, great, right? You left a lasting impression, first impression. But come back to them. You can always come back to them and say, listen, did you hire some new techs yet? Come on, man. It's peak season. I know you're fucking hiring techs. Come on. I got calls. They got to go somewhere. I called you yesterday about, yeah, that was me. I called you yesterday. I'm going to call you tomorrow. Go find some fucking techs. You want some? Are you telling me you need some help for me to go find some techs for you? Is that what you're telling me? I got to go find the techs too? Having the calls to give to you with people looking for HVAC is not enough. You need me to hire people for you too? Jesus, you want me to wipe your ass? You don't have to say it all like that, but you already got where I was going with that, and the feeling that it gave you if you were that business owner. It's like, oh man, I do need to get my shit together. What the fuck am I doing? This guy's got business. I need to find a way to bridge that gap. It's him. It's on him, but you got to put it on him. He's putting it off on you. Fuck you. I'm going to call you in the fall, or call me back in the. He doesn't even say I'm going to call you. He says, call me in the fall, or put it off. Put it off. Man, you don't even. Let me tell you something. Most of those guys, especially in those fields, they're married. They would never say shit like that to their wife. You know why? Because they have to live with her. And I don't mean that in a sexist way. I mean any good, half decent, functioning marriage partner or spouse is gonna give you a lot of shit if you don't deliver on your end. And if that's taking out the fucking trash or fixing the garage door or whatever it is, right? Walking the dog, you're gonna hear about it. You are going to hear about it, right? And most of those guys are married, so I'm telling you right now, uh, they they anything to not hear that, right? That's the urgency. You don't have that yet. If you did, they'd be all over it like a fat kid on a cupcake. I'm telling you right now. All right. So take that. Hopefully that makes sense. It's not that people are too busy. It's the urgency's not there enough in the communication of the offer. All right. Let's see. John says, joined ClickFunnels a couple months ago, set up one campaign so far, which is not moving much. So we'll need your help once my broadband is set up, please. Yep. Not a problem at all. Took notice of your tip on reading and writing useful stuff. Ready to kick off again when internet comes back. Cool. Andy says hi. Hello, Andy. Good to see you. Anything over in the main comments here? Let's see. No. Okay. Oh, we got Andy coming into the room. Okay. Let's let Andy in real quick. Hey, Andy.
Hi, well, let me do it.
I'm good. How are you, sir?
Well, let me just meet you in the Facebook because you probably. I
Yeah,
forgot. I
that
was
would be.
trying to get on the last one and I missed it, and then I missed this one. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay, thanks, mate. I'm okay. I just literally just about to just had another meeting cancel, and yeah, it's getting to the point in my job where it's starting to quieten down. So I'm just basically going to start prospecting again soon.
Okay, cool. How can I help?
To be honest, mate, I just want to come on and say hello. There's nothing
Okay.
I'm really stuck on.
Hey,
Just like
hey,
just
sometimes
get
that's
my
all
head
you
back in
need.
the game. You know? Yeah.
Right, right. Sometimes that's all you need. Say hello. So yeah.
Yeah, I just want to say hello because it's man, I've been away from it for quite a while now, and I've just got to get back on that prospecting horse, you know.
Yep, you got to get on it, man.
Yeah,
I remember that last time that was a bit of a slow down spot for you,
yeah.
right?
It's just how it is in my. But I'm actually just want to sort of it's even like everything in the UK comes to a stop when there's like major football tournaments on. So right now the Euros on, so like the leagues have just gone off a cliff in my day job. Um,
Oh, really?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But did I see on somewhere that you got a call and something a new course or something coming out? Did I see that on a YouTube channel or something like that? I misread that.
No. Are you talking about the scheduled live streams?
I thought maybe I read it wrong. I thought it was something new, yeah, coming out in July or something.
Yeah, I think you're talking about the live streams. I'm shit testing a
Okay.
couple of software. I talked about this in the mentorship, and I'm doing that for the organic rate rankings just to see um, what happens, and I'm testing it. And then what I'm going to be doing is testing it also on local. So I want to see what ranking live streams will do and what the tolerances are, right, for that. So I'm shit testing stuff to uh, see not only what works, but to what, where does it stop working? When is it too much? When is it not enough? And the right down the middle, right? That whole tolerance conversation from earlier. So that's what I'm working on there. Um, but yeah, new training. Yeah, I do have updated training we're going to be dropping, but it's not going to be scheduled based on those live streams. So I wouldn't pay attention to any of that.
Okay.
Uh, Unless you just want to see how that stuff ranks. I haven't actually done anything with that yet. I've just posted them and wanted to see. Part of the shit test was to see what do they do just by themselves, and I've got some answers on that. So yeah,
I used to
actually,
have some software called SendWire, but they stopped using it, where you can just rank you build loads of Web 2.0 sites, and you can rank it really well. That was quite a while ago now.
yeah. Sendwire, I've heard of them. Uh, they're actually
They
pretty. They're actually
shut it
pretty
down.
good.
They used to, but they just shut it down.
Oh, they shut it down.
Yeah, they're not supporting anymore, unfortunately. Too many
Why did
updates.
they? Why did they shut down? That was a good
It
service.
said it was. I know. It said it was too costly to integrate and keep up the updates up with all the platforms. Where they had to build the properties, and they just couldn't afford to do it. It wasn't viable, so they stopped it. But it used
They
to
should
work
have.
really well.
They should have charged more.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
were they charging? I can't even remember. It was like a few hundred
I
bucks a month or something.
I bought a lifetime membership years ago. I'm talking like 5 years ago or something. So I haven't got a clue what that was.
Hmm.
It was a while ago. But I tell there is actually one question I do want to ask. And I probably asked this before. I just need to get it into my head. So, how much? Like I know the answer is going to be like as much as you can, but in the real world, if I can like put a number of hours in prospecting to make this viable, to sort of, I'm trying to sort of plan. I've got this quiet period coming up in the summer holidays in the UK, or quieter
Right.
period, not dead, and then I get really busy right up until December, and I'm just trying to figure out how many hours I really need to be putting in to have a sort of
Well, you're right
possibility.
about the first answer is going to be as many as you can, but I would say on average, if you can spare it 3 times a week, 4-hour sessions,
Hmm.
that's 12 hours, man. I mean, that's anywhere from if you really suck, 3 clients to pushing five, six, eight, even double digits with 12 hours a week. And the rest of your time, since it's only 3 days, you're doing 4 hours, the rest of your time would be spent on campaign creation, systems and processes, hiring and training when you get to that point, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it is as
The other
much as you can, but I wouldn't go beyond 4 hours in any one session because it's just you get too much burnout, you get too much fade. Yeah.
what I may think I might do as well is that I don't think I'll be travelling abroad this year from the UK. I won't even get into the politics of what's going on here with travel and like passport vaccines and all that shit. But I was just
Right.
mainly thinking about you've no idea, mate. Um, you got
I've
states
got
you can
some
get that.
I've got some idea. There's plenty of people that are advocating for that kind of shit over here. I promise you. So
Yeah,
I might not be going anywhere for a while either.
yeah. There's no Thailand, mate. There's no coming to see you in Vegas. But what I'm on the idea of doing is like taking like planning a week and like just blitzing it, doing like a blitz for 1 week, take a week off work, and say right at prospects like five, Monday through Friday or something.
Then I would still do 4 hours a day. I would not push past that. Yeah. There's just something about even Jordan Belfort talked about this. Like he talked about back before he became a broker, he was selling meat. You remember that story?
That's it. Yeah, yeah,
Okay, so when he was for everybody else, when he was selling meat, I mean, he became a millionaire and he was like what, 20, like 20, 21 years old, something like that. Made a ton of money selling meat. And the thing is, he went on he went on a ride along with somebody because they were having difficulty closing the good numbers, and or he had a the guy had a slump or whatever, and so Jordan rode with him, and he said by the 3 hours in, the guy was toast. He was approaching the door, slumped over, not smiling, uh, not even saying the right shit. Like it was, he's like, that's why you're, because you're done. Like mentally, you're done, or the rejection got to you, right? So it's one of those two things. But usually, it's even if you're in the go 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 mode and you've got 3 clients in for the day, after that 4 hour point, you hit more or less like the wall. It doesn't mean you can't keep calling and can't get clients after that. It just means it becomes efficiency wise, it becomes much, much harder to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense completely.
Okay. So
Yeah.
when you hit the wall, it's better for you to shift gears and do campaign creation and SOPs and organize your call recordings of the clients you close and the ones that were really bad for good examples to use in your training and shit like that. It's still time very, very well spent because you're not thinking about what just the clients you can get today. You're thinking about the business. You're giving the whole business the attention it deserves, not just client acquisition. I've seen people burn out not doing that, right? By going above, beyond 4 hours, pushing that envelope. And it's like,
That's
again, that
that's what
tolerance.
it's a bit of a struggle for me because my day job is selling all day, and when I time I the thought of getting on that dialer for like 4 hours a night is,
You don't
very
have to
much
do 4 hours every day. You need to do a 2 hour
yeah,
window, right?
to it.
2 hour window. But even still, I get it. After selling all day, you probably don't want to be doing that. I get that. I get that.
Well, I'm trying to think about taking a week off, and if I did really well, I'd go back to work for a couple of weeks and take another week off and have another blitz set up, and then that would give
Yeah,
me a
that's the strategy is to anytime you have accrued time off and you to burn anyway, instead of burning it on your next vacation, burn it on the business model that's going to get you a permanent vacation. Like
on that.
that's how I
That's
look
what I'm
at it.
thinking. That's all I'm thinking is like,
Yeah.
and then, do you know what? And if I hustle through the rest of the year, if because it will get very very busy, for me from September right to early December, then it would die again, and that's time
But
to
then you've
fix it
got
again.
December. Yep.
December, but
Yeah, if you could do a blitz, July's not the best month. July's not the best month to do a blitz. I would say if anything, do, what you can spare time wise. It also gets you back in the game without having to like spend all your powder, all your energy. Just be aware July's not the best month. August is a little better. September's prime time,
why is
obviously.
July not? Why is July not a very good month then?
Say again,
Why is it not a very good month?
it's July, man.
July.
Everybody's traveling. We have a major independence holiday, July 4th. Everybody's traveling for vacation, especially now with COVID restrictions being lifted or lightened in a lot of cases. People are sick of staying at home. They're ready to move. They're going to go.
Okay.
Like, virus be damned. Most people are moving around. Even the ones who are uh, vaccinated or not, doesn't matter. They're still wanting to go on vacation. So, and not just vacation, but keep in mind, kids are going to be going back to school this fall, all that kind of stuff, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
this is definitely like the year of travel here in the states. And July is always historically a bad month. June's not so great either, but remember it dips. I've already showed you guys all this shit before. Like June it dips a little bit. July is the bottom of the dip or the valley, and August it starts coming back up. September you're back in full swing mode, right? And that's just because of how things work with times of
I
year
think
for when school starts.
for
And
me, I wrote now if I wait till September, they won't have the time
I didn't
making
say
anything
wait.
happen.
I didn't say wait. I said don't spend your like unless you have 8 weeks of vacation time, don't spend a week in July. That's misspending, right? You're not spending it well. What I would do instead is use what time you have without vacation time during July because it's not the greatest month, right? You
Okay.
follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then in August, you can maybe consider doing it. If you see it start to pick up, then do a week, right? If it doesn't pick up and September is when it picks up for you the most, you're going to have to do a week in September. And I know you're probably not going to want to hear that or want to do that, but I mean, I can't, I'm not God. I can't make shit change
No,
like
I
that. I
get it.
can't change school schedules and virus, this and that. I can't change vacation times or nothing like that. I wish I could, but I can't. I can only teach you how to do the best you
Okay,
can
so
with it, right?
just yeah, because like what I'm trying to strategize in my a day job is to kind of get a session a week where I can get in and maybe do 4 hours, something like that. But I don't know if 4 hours is a realistic time frame to actually achieve much. Or am I just spinning my own wheels?
Uh, sure it is. In 4 hours on the phone, you should have numbers. Numbers you can come back to me with. We can talk about. I can help you dial it in and start getting clients.
That's what I want.
Okay.
Funnily enough.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's not only possible. It's you've got a strong likelihood if you follow those directions. You come back to me and you say I did 4 hours of calling and you ain't got numbers. I can't help you. Right? We
Yeah.
kind of been down that road before. Right? Let's not do that again. We've already learned that one. Okay. So
Yep.
all the other lessons we've learned along the way, that's why I said you should be a little rusty, but you should be able to fine tune quickly to where even in July you'll pull clients and pull a fair amount of them without having to do that whole take a week off in the middle of July. I don't think that's the best idea. Right? I'd rather you
I
take it off in
it,
August.
it, yeah, maybe okay, maybe I don't, but like if I can, it should be quiet enough that I can just get on there maybe for 2 4 hour sessions or something. I mean, to be honest, 4 hours seems a lot to me. 3 hours, my head's saying I can't do much more than three, but like
Well
to
then,
be on the
yeah,
dot.
schedule. I would start with two, and yeah, I mean, you remember what it was like, Alan. So start with two and see how you
Yeah,
feel, and if you need to do multiple 2 hour sessions, then do multiple 2 hour sessions, Um, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing less than two and nothing more than four would be the ideal day's worth of sessions.
okay, that helps. I don't know if it's probably not in the right maybe the question. I've still got money left in Dollar Central. Will I be able to use up the credits on there? Because or
You'd have to check with Dale. I haven't asked him about that. I don't think he's set up with the new service yet. I haven't heard back from him on that yet. So um, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. Yeah, I'd reach out to Dale and find out.
I've got a tip. If I don't know if I should say so. Let's the other place that we in your old training at the other place, yeah.
Yeah.
I found out how to access it if someone wants to see it. If you go into when you go on Google, I don't know if they didn't no index because I was really wanting to see the Battle of Fort Lauderdale, and
Oh yeah,
when you
yeah.
put in colon site, it's indexed. You can just find it, but when you log in, they block it all off. So as I watched that, and it's really given me the motivation when I was watching you with Jamie and those two brothers and some other.
The
It
Dart
just really got me
Brothers.
sort of Dart brother. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dart, and
Are
it
you
really
are
got
you
me
talking
fired
about
up.
the tour? Are you talking about the tour or
Yeah,
are you talking about the battle?
still, yeah. Both actually, tell lies. Both, sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there were a few things there, yeah. The tour
yeah,
was pretty cool because we documented the journey along the way. Yeah.
yeah. Are
Yeah.
they guys still in business? Are they? Or
I haven't talked to the Dart Brothers in a while. They had a lot of potential though, and they did do well initially. So I can't tell you. I wouldn't know. Jamie, I believe, is still in the business. Yeah. He took some knocks and decided to start learning from uh, somebody else. Um, Actually, a couple other people, but such is life.
yeah. No, it's okay. No, it just helped when I just found it. I was just like really wanting. But I watched it and I see what you're doing. I see the progression that they're making. It's kind of it gave me
Do you see the
the
level of engagement too?
yeah. And I
It's
see
it's up
it's
there,
really
right? Like I know,
yeah,
yeah, it's up there. But now you understand probably more about why I say what I say, and like I'm not just saying it to keep people around me.
yeah.
I'm really not,
No,
because
I know you ain't,
you've
and I
you've been
you're
you've
the only
gotten
guy
busy. You've gotten
who'll be
busy and
seeing.
then come back and got busy and come back. I mean, do you
Yeah,
see me like no? Because as long as you're
so
still sticking it, you know what I mean? Like I'm here for you.
it just it's like it just gave me the like I said the motivation to be able to sort of
That's good.
get my head back into because when I see them doing it, you think, well, like I'm selling anyway in my job. I know I haven't done it, and there is a language barrier, and I'm in the UK, and you guys in the US, but you see that and you see you're doing it with them, it just makes you believe in more. So if you just go into Google and put into the bar, you put colon then site, and
Yeah.
their old website, and it
I
pops
thought it
up and you
was
can find.
I thought it was site colon. Is it colon
Maybe it is
site?
site colon. I
Yeah,
can't.
site colon
Either
is
way, just
typically
play with it
it's
and
a
you get
Boolean.
it.
Yeah, it's a Boolean
Yeah,
search, right?
that's
Yeah,
it.
it's
The
site
Boolean
colon.
search. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it. Site colon.
yeah,
But man, that was good. You said last time you might be doing a session again, like you doing on the dialer
yeah,
on
yeah,
the last one I was on. That would be
yeah.
good to
We're
sit down.
that'll probably help you guys out too a lot. That's what I was gonna do. Yeah,
Yeah, that would be
yeah. July's gonna be not the greatest, but it'll be a Wednesday on our next call for the 14th.
okay.
So I was thinking it would be a good idea to do something like that. And then
That would
the
be
28th will be on a Wednesday. August, if we kept doing that, uh, August ends up on a Saturday. It's okay. It's not the greatest, but not terrible. Maybe I'll just do
you
something
said.
ad
You
lib in
said
August.
the, the best days when
Ad
you're
hoc, I mean.
prospecting.
Typically Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Those are your
Tuesday, Wednesday,
primes,
Thursday.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the only time, but that's the prime time if you can do it. Um, Monday afternoons are okay. Monday mornings, no go. Friday mornings, okay. Friday afternoons, no go. Saturday mornings and even early afternoon, okay. Sunday, no go.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't do it myself. Okay. No.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, I ain't got much more to say with you, mate. It's just just to talk to you more than anything. Hang out.
Yeah, like you said, say hey, but you actually got a few things
I
straightened
did,
out,
yeah, and
so
I
that's
just
good.
I wasn't prepared. I completely forgot, and it just shit in a minute.
Hey, man,
I missed the last one. You know.
that's why we do these calls, man. So that way you can. It's like, oh man, I forgot to ask you this. Colin just did that too, right?
Did he?
Yeah, he was on a call in the mentorship yesterday, and he's like, oh yeah, by the way, forgot to ask this today, and he asked me the question. I mean, he even said it in the comments. Where is it? It's thanks for your insights. Follow up question. Is that it? No, maybe it was another one. Hold on. Forgot to ask. He said, where was it? I swear I saw that. Forgot to ask. I was going to ask that question last in the sales call. So there it is. Yeah. So that's call dropped again. Yeah. How about that? Anyway, happy to help as always. You got anything else? You need anything else?
Not really, mate. I'm just it's all good thing. I'm just like I say, just trying to get my head in the space where I can see myself doing this and just even fucking, do I don't know two 2 hour sessions a week, and then while it's quiet in the summer, I can get in, you know, 5 3 hour sessions or something. That's what I'm trying to work myself into. But it's hard for me because I sat all day, and it's like to get on at night and then start a new job in a different country. It's quite a challenge. And I'm just trying to find a way to integrate it in. That I've got the beans in me to do it and
Do
stay
you work
consistent.
on Saturdays over there, or what?
Yeah, unfortunately.
You do. Okay, so 6 days a
Yeah,
week.
yeah, basically,
All right,
and a lot of evenings and daytime. So
evenings and daytime, and there's no way for you to structure that so that you can.
I possibly could. Yeah, I mean, this is what I was saying to you. It was like I think in my head that maybe I could sort of book um sort of Tuesday. And the reason I say Tuesday, I'm more rested. Monday's a pretty hard day for me, but I've still got plenty in me. Friday I'm spent because I've still got to work on a Saturday morning always. Not all day Saturday, I work half day. But
Okay.
just a way that I can think, right, if I can get on that dialer for 3 hours or something on a Tuesday, maybe 3.5 hours, maybe.
Yeah. See what you can do about creating windows. Like even a half day window like that, to where you can put in a solid 2, 3, 4 hours is better than, and then something else later in the week is better than nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because at least you got something in there. It's better than nothing.
I,
And
I could handle doing follow ups. I could handle doing follow ups, but like you know, it's like, you're prospecting, so you need to be mentally tough and have the energy to
Yep.
get the
No, you
make the
do.
sales get over
You
the line.
do.
You know,
You do.
just trying to
Well, again,
in my psyche.
you gotta work the schedule, right? You gotta work the schedule to your favor. I mean, I quick story about the story time again, folks. There's a mentor of mine that talks about how he worked for it was a commission job. Don't know if I think it was commission only, or maybe it was commission hourly, but it was definitely commission. So it might have been just commission only, and it was like something to do with contractors and bidding on jobs, right? Which is, and there were always like these same major players or contractors that bid on the same types of jobs. So it's a higher level, kind of like definitely corporate level of job bidding for whatever this was, right? And it was a big type projects. Okay, so think like massive buildings or some shit like that. Okay, infrastructure, and the guys that were responsible for like a book of business, think of it like they were like this guy was responsible for, I don't know, $100 million worth of business, I think, or something like that. And what he did was they were required to, I say required, not by law or anything. They were encouraged, everybody that was a rep was encouraged to make to accept bids from or to make, excuse me, to make bids for every offer that came through, every fucking one of them. And it wasn't required, and you wouldn't lose your job. But this guy said, well, I know that 90% of those are just no good, and why would we waste the time making those when I could spend that 90% of my time instead of making bids on shit I know is not a good fit and I know we're not going to get and we don't even want in most cases, but we're just throwing a bid to do what? So instead of spending time there, he spent the time in the relationships and development with the 10%, and he grew that book of business from 100 million to like 200 million. He had to go before a board, a commission review board. This is no bullshit, where they discussed whether they were going to cap his fucking commissions because he was just making too much. He cut out 90% of the work and bullshit, made the company more than, double the portfolio of what he was in charge of, and they were going to cap him. You know what they decided to do instead?
Fire
They
his ass and
promoted
pay
him.
him off.
They promoted him to a manager. Guess what a manager
Yeah,
doesn't get?
guy brings in extra 100 million on top of 100 million.
No, they promoted him to a manager, and managers don't get commissions. So he quit. The next day he quit, and within 3 months from then, he made another business that was, if
Hey,
I'm not mistaken, sold out and for like something like seven figures, maybe eight. I can't remember exactly the details on that, but the point is, I mean, that was working for somebody else in the commission level. I guess where I was going with that is, um, when you look at your schedule, look at it with that frame of mind. I'm not saying that you have to junk all your appointments that you don't feel are going to close or worth it. You may not even know yet, right? But there are things you could do to smartly pre-qualify or move and adjust your schedule to where it's like, you know what? I know that I can take appointments between 4 and 6 or whatever the time is that you want for making calls on this agency model, but I'm not going to take those times appointments. I'm going to anybody that schedules at 4 or 5 or 6 or whenever that window is that you want. I'm going to call them up and immediately try to reschedule them or move them to a time that I will see them or be able to see them. And then that gives you that window. You create that window. You make that window.
yeah.
Um, it
I
requires
think one
a
thing.
little bit, yeah, it requires a little bit more fight on your part, but
Yeah.
it's not impossible. Hell, it's not even, I would say, even really difficult. And you don't have things like the commission review board to deal with. So yeah,
No, I have something similar though called a sales manager.
find a
So
way. Yeah,
yeah,
find a
yeah.
way to
Um, uh,
to move your
what
schedule
is
around.
because I had it in my head that 2:30 UK, which is 9:30 Eastern. Is that right? Or is it 10:30? What
Five
time did
hours
you say to
difference, right?
start? Yeah, what time? With ours, what time did you say to start prospecting?
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 9:30 Eastern would be fine.
Okay.
Because that's and if you ran your 2 to 4 hour block, then that would be uh, 6:30 East Coast, or I mean West Coast, 6:30 a.m. West Coast, and so you start on the East Coast, your dials, and what happens is over the next 2 to 3 hours, guess what? It works its way to Central Time, Mountain Time, Pacific Time at the end of a
Does
4 hour run.
okay, okay. I don't know if that Lee's Rain does that thing that Data Central does that because it's a real clever system, isn't it?
Yeah, it auto detects
Yeah.
time zones. Yeah, 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 yeah. So
No,
that's not going to be a problem for you. Um,
I just need to get some clients, man. Because I tell you, I bust my ass all week long selling for other people. Because
Start structuring. I think it's going to benefit your sales on the other job in the long run too. If you start booking tighter windows, making things much more have to fit your needs. I think with as dialed in as you are with that position, I think you're going to find your sales numbers are going to stay the same or get it better even, and you're going to spend less time and you're going to have created more time for the window that you need or the windows that you need for this model. And it's something that it's one of those things, that the above and beyond I talk about all the extra mile shit that you have to do. I say you have to do that winners do that everybody else gives up on. This is one of those. It's definitely something you're going to need to do. Is it an absolute requirement? No, I'm sure you could probably struggle on, right? But if you actively schedule that way and create those windows of opportunity, it ain't going to take you long before those windows of opportunity start producing. Especially if
yeah,
you stay in touch with me and right, we keep working on that stuff. Which, by the way, somebody was at Santos was asking for the mentorship group, how do I get questions answered besides the weekly calls? There's a private mentorship Facebook group. You can ask questions in there, and then of course the weekly calls and support as well. So there's a few different places similar to what's here in the main group, but the mentorship obviously is the mentorship. So uh, yeah, just wanted
just
to
help
answer
me
that.
because like what my yeah I've been trying to make a living online for years now. Never really sort of made it. I did sell SEO for about a year. Had one big client. But what always keeps me going is about this. What you teach is two things more than anything. One, well, actually, three things, main things. One, I'm getting paid up front, and two, that it's recurring income. I know you might take on 10 clients and at first I might lose five and you said you probably keep 70, 80. But for me, it's the power of the recurring business model. You're building up that business where you've got regular customers, and that's one of the hardest things to actually achieve in any business. Like now, I work on
Yeah.
months trying to book the figures, and every month I go back to zero. Every week I go back to zero. And
Well,
you
yeah,
do
every
quite.
model's different. Every model's
Yeah,
different. Not everybody sells toilet paper or food, stuff that's consumed regularly,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Um,
That's what I mean.
it's not everybody has that model. We do, yeah, for sure. We do have that here, um, and that is a benefit. I don't know if everybody would agree with you that getting those kinds of clients is the hardest part or most challenging part. Everybody has their challenges. Some people have it with campaign management. Some people have it with management of the business, period. Some people have a strong aversion to creating systems and processes or any SOPs for their staff. Uh, some people, well, quite a few people have just issues following just simple directions from the get, right? Like from the gate, um, and never
Let's
recover from that. There are people that learn from
yeah.
it, and then there are people that are like that. They're just never going to learn from that, and that's just who they are. No judgment. I'm just saying that there's
It,
all different types, and there's all kinds of roadblocks, all kinds of speed bumps that can trip you up. My job is to point them out, show you where they're at, how to avoid them, how to get through them or over them quickly, and not damage the car while doing so, um, and arrive at your destination. Car may be a little banged up, but if it's not it doesn't matter if you arrive to if that's not your goal is to keep the car pristine. It's just to arrive A to B as fast as possible safely. Well, then who cares if the car's got a dent or two? You made it from A to B. That's all that matters. And dents can be
the
fixed.
way I see it, it's like I've been. indirect sales my whole life, and in my mind anyway, I've always been building up to end of the week, end of the month, end of the quarter. It's always pressure, and it's
Yeah.
always starting from zero. What I like about this, because that is business, whether I work for somebody, which I do. When I had my own business, it was no different. I was having my own mortgage business, but this model is the recurring income, man. That's just like that's pure gold.
Yeah.
If you sell a T-shirt, great, you sold a T-shirt on Shopify, you've made $10. If you sell supplements and it's recurring every month, then you got $10 for 12 months, so on and so forth. And that
Yeah.
to me is what like
Well,
it's
there's
recurring income.
supplements, right, which are good, and people that use supplements tend to stick with the ones that work the best for them,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's not
I do.
quite the same though as
No,
selling insulin, for example.
yeah,
Now, I'm not saying you
no.
need to get in a racket of selling insulin, but if you get my meaning,
Like
like the costs of insulin alone are ridiculous. And
okay, I'll put it to it a different way. Then I've got a mate of mine. I'm trying to get him to do this, but I just got him a job with who I work for, and he's been selling websites, and it's just been a nightmare for him. It's like all these business owners don't want to pay anything. You do all that work, and it's a lot of work. Like doing websites, revisions, going back and forth, and it's done. That's it. You still
yeah,
got to get the next job. It's a non-stop, constant client getting, and it
yeah,
takes a shit ton of time to fulfill on. Like some of these sites take days to build, days and days, even when you're quite good at it. With all the
yeah,
revisions and changing stuff and changing graphics, like
right. No, I'm with
this
you.
is also something relatively easy to fulfill on, isn't it?
Well, so someone like that, they're building a client base. If they're not maximizing that client base to sell them something that's on a recurring basis, that's probably where their first mistake is. Not the fact that they're building websites, but the fact that they don't have something lined up on a monthly with their clients. Like, for example, what I would do is every new website client I get, and you can tell your friend this too if you want, even though this isn't pay per call related. I'm a marketing guy, dude. You know that.
Yeah,
Um, the first thing I would think of is, okay, site support, right? Site support. And eventually you can get enough clients on that on a monthly retainer to hire somebody to where you don't ever have to do site support ever again
yeah. It's just for just
and get.
illustrating the point of like what this model does.
I'm with you.
That's one of
I'm
the things
just,
that keeps me
yeah,
going. I'm trying to talk myself back into it, if you know what I mean. It's always my inbox is always jammed full of thousand different amazing opportunities, all making
yeah,
me claiming to make me a million. Uh,
yeah,
but
yeah.
when you look at the logistics or try a lot, the chance, the doability, the probability is extremely low.
Well, most of them are that I see anyway are touting how easy something is.
Yeah,
And I'm not saying that everything worthwhile is difficult. I don't necessarily believe that either because I've had some really big wins that were too fucking easy, actually.
yeah,
But typically, I've already paid my dues. The reason it was so easy was I just happened to catch somebody at the right time in the right place with the right offer. But
yeah,
how did I have that right offer? Well, I went through I took my knocks, right? Uh, and learned what the right offer would be, right? And then I had to come across the right opportunity, which means I was prospecting. So it only seems like overnight success, or it only seems like, oh, you pulled in a dream client or a national client. How'd you do that? Like I've discovered fire or something, and it's not. All it is was exactly what I
got
just
your ass off,
described. Yeah,
and then yeah,
the analogy is the guy that gets called into the master mechanic for a cruise ship gets called in to fix something that's wrong with the boat because the propeller won't turn. That's all the captain knows, and so the master mechanic comes on, spends like several hours running all over the ship, looking at different things, and then comes back and fixes the problem. The problem happened to be like an O-ring on engine cylinder number six, whatever, goes up to the captain, says, and bills him for well, doesn't bill him, says that'll be $20,000. The captain's like, $20,000? All you did was walk around the fucking ship for like 6 hours, whatever. And it's an O-ring. How much could that be? That's, cents, right? Like 50 cents, a dollar, whatever. And he's like, can you itemize the bill for me? And he said, sure, no problem. And so he pulls out an invoice and he itemizes it. The O-ring was like $1.50 or whatever the fuck it was. And then uh, years of experience it took to to narrow it down to the O-ring, 19,999. You get the idea. Like that
Yeah,
was the invoice that
yeah,
he. So the experience that comes from that, right? That's why I told you specifically. You've taken a lot of knocks. You've learned a lot of things. It's going to be easier for you this time around just because of that. At least up to the point of acquisition. Now beyond that, you're going to start taking some knocks again
yeah.
if you're
I know I am.
if you're
I know.
prepared for it and you know what to do, which is stay in touch with me, run your numbers with me if you need to. That's fine. Stay on top of things. Don't avoid them. Make as much time as you can. Be very strategic and not not uh, don't hoard your time, but jealously guard and defend your time as a valuable asset because that's exactly what it is. It's your most valuable asset, and you don't
Yeah.
have enough of it yet to your liking to really give this a good go. So now more than ever, you need to really focus on protecting that. So, but you do those things, you'll do just fine.
Thanks, mate. I just need to get something out of this. It needs to happen by the end of the summer, and I'm just gearing up for it. Otherwise, it'd just be, December before I know it.
Right.
And
It will
I'm
be
gonna
because
have,
it's already, yeah, almost July
yeah.
already. I hear you. So
You know what I'm saying?
July's not the best
And
month. That doesn't
no, I
mean
know,
it's not
but
meant to discourage
yeah,
you. Get started. Just don't take a week vacation in July unless you're actually going to go vacation, which might not be a bad idea. Maybe you need a recharge too. So I would encourage you to
listen,
look
I'll
at your
give you an
schedule,
example.
shift it around, right? Get you some windows without the vacation time, and then think about spending it in August, the week vacation to burn for work in August. That's what I would look at.
Okay. My head says I want to try and do two of them. 'Cause the annoying thing is, I'm commission only, so I won't know much money pretty much from now, hopefully, right through to August. So I need to actually try to make this work. I'm not desperate for the money, but as my day job tanks down, I want to start to replace the time with prospecting.
Yeah, start structuring your appointments that way, and I think you're going to find with less appointments during the day, you're going to have more energy, and as long as you're using it in the right place, then you'll be fine.
So, okay. Yeah. Okay, mate. Well, I probably haven't got much more to say really. Kind of, but it has helped me just talking to you.
Yeah,
So
it's
thanks.
always good catching up, and I'm always happy to help. You know that. Um, I think the biggest challenge for you is going to be finding the time. Got to move some stuff around, make a
Yeah.
habit of that, and all of a sudden you'll find yourself with the time you need and the energy really with the time. That's the
Trouble is, mind
key.
you, it's really intense. Like you have a little bad run. The manager, who I get on really well with, is like, I've got this lead. It's own, so you'll probably sell it. But the sessions are hard and long and can take me hours, and they're very intense himself. What I'm doing, and on my head, I'm just saying, right, I've got to shift it, doing something for myself because I'll be still be going on stage dancing to whoever's tune I'm working for, and I've got to turn that for myself. I need to do it this year because I'm just going to forget this whole internet marketing thing. It's just going to be something else I've been, trying for too long.
Okay. Well, I'll let you get to it. I'm not going to, there's nothing more I can say to you that I haven't already said to
No,
you, man.
no, I know.
Uh,
I'm just feeling
I
it.
wish I had the right, if I could say a word and it would just boom, clients. Man, I'd already said it like 20 times. You know what I mean? Months and months and months
Listen,
ago.
you can. I'll tell you what. You said it before. You said it before. It was $1,500 a month profit. That was enough.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right, mate. Um, yeah, I'll let you get on and do your thing.
Well, I'm gonna. We were doing last call. I know we stretched it out a bit, but I want to make sure you got everything you needed.
Yeah, I've got everything I needed, mate.
Because I ain't trying to bounce out like that. You know that.
Yeah.
But all right, let's do last call on questions.
Okay.
And
Thanks,
since
mate.
that's kind of where we were at, you're more than welcome. I will see you July 14th, good sir.
See you
And
then, mate.
let
See you
me
then.
hear from you between now and then
Okay.
on what you got going. Like if you're able to put in a session, let me see your numbers. Let me hear what you're dealing with. Let me help you out,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And
Will do.
I'll be happy to do that.
Roger that.
All right.
Cheers.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. What do we got? Last question for call. Last call for questions. There we go. Last call for questions. And we'll bounce out of here. I'll hang around for just a minute or so because I know there's about a 30-second delay. It takes a minute to ask away. I think we're good. Let's see. Uh, Quessy just said thank you very much for that response. So that was from earlier. You're more than welcome, sir. Uh, Colin, great call, especially the I'm too busy stuff, as it's what I'm expecting tomorrow. So now I'm armed with the responses. Cheers. You're more than welcome. More than welcome. Happy to help. Uh, John says the comment about, I don't think it's Colin's comment, I think it was Andy's comment. So Andy's comment about his income having to start over every week reminded me of when I and you sold life insurance. Although I did it and did it well, I didn't really appreciate the value of income building using repeat commissions and renewals until I is offered, uh, until I was offered. I don't know. I was offered and took a management. Oh, you were offered and took a management job. Yeah. Bad move, no repeats. That's also why calling ads is such an attractive thing. Yeah, about that, I had it set so that my referral game was really, really strong. It still is to this day because of what I learned in insurance. And so I didn't sweat near as much as everybody else did for new business next week. For the first 6 months, I did. I starved my ass off, but I learned, right? I learned through necessity of learning and constantly being around producers. I've chose to, and I was what, 20, 21 years old the first time around in insurance. And I chose to be around the producers because I knew that's where I was going to pick up and learn, even just by watching them and mimicking them and learning bits and pieces here and there. I knew by doing that enough, I'd be able to make things happen. I also had extremely low self-esteem at that time in my life, based on some of the things I'd gone through earlier, and uh, didn't believe in myself near as much as I do today, and still don't believe in myself the way I would like to. I can tell you that, but that's a daily thing that I work on. Right? That's one of my things. the 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 idea is this. In short, like with insurance, I didn't sweat it as much because I got to the point where I had leveraged so many referrals from so many different places, and also the type of business I was closing wasn't it wasn't dependent on any one household anymore, or getting that one insurance application filled out right. It was more about going business to business and getting 20, 50, 100 of them in one go, and all of their families to boot, because it was usually group insurance, right? Which was pretty good money. Usually a five-figure payday for me and up. And how many of those do you need a year? You know what I'm saying? And there was a period of time where within the first 45 days of coming back to that, because I took some time off to lose some weight, go in the military, and I was waiting on my contract to come up, which took about 6 months or so, and I was doing nothing. I moved furniture for a little while longer, and then when it got cold again, I was like, "Fuck that! I'm not moving furniture when it's cold." I saved up all my money, so I was just gonna chill and work out and keep losing weight until time to go into the military. Right? Well, I got a call and said, "Hey, we come back and show these guys what's what and make some money to boot?" And I was like, "Cool, yeah, I'll come back, except I'm not coming in every day." See, that was one of the things they had you do. 5 days a week, you had to come into the office, and it was fucking 30 miles one way. I was like, "I'm not doing that shit for what? I got all the money I need right here, and I'm heading to the military." I knew what I was doing. And they said, "Fine, you don't have to come in every day, but you got to come in at least at some point." I was like, "Of course I'm going to come in, right? I've got to turn in the fucking apps. Like, what do you, I've got to do appointment booking too. Like, I'm not going to not come in. I just don't want to come in for those bullshit meetings because there's too many negative Nancy's in there, right?" And so that was the first thing I struck up. Then they gave me, this is back in the day, so they gave me a fax machine. And I had a fax machine from the house. They gave it to me. And I was like, okay. And within the first 45 days back, I had three businesses signed like that. And that was when I started getting invited to the Alabama game. I got to sit in the box for a little while, the company box for a bit. Um, People were starting to take notice, and it's like, "Man, we're sorry to lose you to the military." And I was like, "I do love this job. right? I love what I do here, except, 16, 18-hour days makes me a fat SOB and unhealthy, and it's just not okay for me quality of life wise. I had no life. This was the life, and at that time in my life, I didn't want that life, and I had thought about the military for many years prior to that, and I wanted to fulfill on that, so I did. That's what I chose to do, and I don't regret that one bit. I also very much am grateful for the experience that I had with that company. They taught me a lot. I learned a lot, but I chose to learn a lot. I think that's the main thing. And one of those things I learned is about appointment scheduling. Man, I used to get really good at scheduling. Instead of doing like somebody says, "Oh, I can't do that. I can only do 9:30 in the morning." Well, then I'll talk to them next week because I got 4 to 6 Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 4 p.m., 6 p.m. Pick a half hour. You know what I'm saying? If that was my windows, I'm just saying. And then that left me what? All that time to do what? Other stuff, process applications, prospect more for business side as opposed to individual families. I needed to go around and collect the leads that I'd been generating. I needed to distribute those and collect the commissions from those with joint um, apps with other insurance agents that I was farming out. Just all kinds of crazy shit that I had to do. 21 years old, you know what I'm saying? Like that. That was not, and all that kind of time invested. It wasn't the life I wanted. Ultimately, it was a great business. I believe in it still to this day. It's just not how I wanted to choose to spend my time. Could I have dialed it back and gotten more efficient? Yeah, with what I know today, yeah, absolutely. I'd be an absolute stud in that business, no doubt about it, out of the gate, because of what I know now, not because of what I knew back then and was still learning. And I wouldn't know what I know now had I not gone on, right? And chose to learn as I went and everything else. So anyway, yeah, I agree on a lot of that. What you're saying, John, about the insurance business, like I was offered a management position. Can you imagine? Hey, we want to be a manager. I'm 21 years old. I just got the eligibility to drink. You want to hand me a management, like in charge of people? I mean, I guess in the military, it's a different story. Around the time you hit 21, 22, you're up for your promotion to NCO usually, as long as you're a good egg. And so I guess that kind of made sense. But at the same time, they're trying to get like 10 people up under me. You know what I mean? And I've only been in the business at that point like a year and a half at the most. What? I'm not ready to lead people. That's where I was kind of at. I was like, I'm still busy making money. Now, as a manager in that company, I would make a small override on everybody's business, but now I'm more dependent on and have to spend more time dealing with other people and whether they perform or not, and the choices they make to work or not, and how hard they work versus what I knew I could do. And I was like, hell no, I make more money than every manager that was in my office. Why would I give that up, right? And I was getting better and better at making it, and yeah, I was killing myself doing it 16 hours a day, but every one of those managers was pissed off at me and drooling over what I was doing. Not bragging. I'm just telling you straight out. I had a lot of hate coming my way. Young punk coming in, getting lucky. Well, I got lucky often, right? Must have been the luck. That's must have been what it was, Mr. Manager. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. I made it work, but again, um, having the ability to build a business that has the rebills. That's valuable. I'll give Andy that. And it's definitely an increase in leverage for sure. Where things really get fun for me, right? Even if that didn't exist, if you have systems and processes that are designed to take a business and grow and like run it and scale it, right? Run it and grow it. It don't matter if you got repeat business or not. The repeat business just kind of becomes a compounding factor bonus. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to have it if the business is running and growing itself. You don't have to have repeat business because the business is running and growing itself. But if you have recurring, it's compounded because the business is still running and growing itself and you're making recurring money. That's why this thing's a friggin' rocket. You know what I'm saying? Um, I mean, that is something to be super excited about. Anyway, the harder you work, the luckier you get, Andy. That's right. Damn straight. I agree with that. That's exactly what the case was. Um, Alrighty, folks. I'm not seeing anything in the comments. It's been real. It's been fun, and it's been real fun. I mean that. It's been almost 2 hours. Good call, though. Good call today. A lot of good questions. You guys are in the right headspace, pushing forward on the right things. Let me hear from you. Let me come talk to you. Come talk to William. Come talk to William. Love me or hate me, I don't give a shit. Come talk to me about your business. Let's make you some money. Let's get your business where it runs and grows itself. And then you can send me a gag gift or, tell me to kick rocks, or, buy me a brouhaha. That's beer for those of you who don't speak Southern. I'm cool with either option. It doesn't matter to me. But yeah, let's build you a business first. Let's get to the point where you can make that choice and then make that choice. I'd be much happier, and I'm sure you would be as well. So let's do that. We can do that together. And then from there, choice is yours, right? We take it to 7 figures if you want. No problem. No problem. Totally up to you. All right, guys and gals. I'll catch you guys I say guys all the time, don't I? Damn. I used to not do that. I will stop doing that right now. I will catch you, folks. Folks makes me sound Southern, but it sounds a lot better than just guys, right? All right, so I'll catch you folks on the next call. We're doing July 14th, and that happens to be on a Wednesday. I'll see what I can do about setting up some calls in advance, make some live calls, sales calls. Let's see where that takes us. Should have some fun with that. July is not typically the best month for client acquisition. Actually, it's typically the worst sales month historically for all business in the States. Even e-com and shit is usually down. It's not like non-existent, mind you, just lower numbers. That's all. So be interesting to see what we do in July and with that, and have some fun, kick that around, and have you guys here kind of listen in over the shoulder, if you will. It'll be fun. So looking forward to that. Hope you are too. And yeah, let's bounce out of here. Let me hear from you. Let me know where you're at, what you're working on. The more you give me, the more I can give you on insight and direction to keep you moving faster and in the right direction faster. Okay. So let's bounce out of here. I'll see you guys July 14th, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. All right. Bye for now.
Cool. You fall. Back on my shit with a new advantage. I leave it up to you to settle the damage. Diamond, yeah, I know it's foreign to him. I came from the guts of rural Alabama. Steph Curry wrist, watch with the handle. Simple motors, gotta lead by example. Not too many make it out when they doubt. Never been about bailing off of my route. Rain gang, got the city HD. Hate to see my brother die every week. Numb to your vision. My life got me too fucked up. Disrespect to make a nigga go dumb. Pillow talking while you nursing that bitch and turn you to a scrub. Outlet prices from the plug. Bay Shore, Ocean View, win Adidas with the boots. Niggas out here slinging arbitrage, so the money really no excuse. Welcome to the realm.